there in the distance is the Mescal Movie Set, and we're going to be going in there today and doing a tour. It's been opened and closed varying times, on and off. Went into private ownership a couple years ago or a few years ago, and now they're doing tours, and you can go and wander around and do some stuff. Used to be able to do that back in the day. You could, I don't know, somehow set up a private tour, but we're gonna go do a tour today. So there we go, the studio entrance, and open today for tours. Why does it say tours begin at 10?
I don't know. My paper says 9.
Well, hopefully that's right. But anyway, we're supposed to be in here at 9. So, and then there's the movie set sign. Film related inquiries, whatever. All right, we're gonna go. Hope you're right. Does it say 9?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now we're gonna drive in. Whoa, yeah. Well, other people are here. I just hope that, yeah, whoa. All right, well, we'll stop videoing for now, and we'll pick it back up again. So from here out in the distance, you can see these are the Whetstone Mountains. And then over there, in that area over there would be Benson. This is all Mescal and J6 here. And this is the backside of the movie set where we're going to be taking a tour. Pretty cool. And you'll see stuff like this around here quite a bit. They use the old railroad tracks to do different things. They'll make cattle guards out of it and all kinds of stuff. Pretty interesting how they repurposed a lot of different things out here. So here's the tour spot right there, the set. So we're gonna head on in. Morning.
Hey, I'm excited. How are you? You like excited. Hi, Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany.
Like an ore cart,
Yep.
some type of a cart that they used to make the bench out of. Pretty interesting. They repurpose everything.
So you can see, so we've got Tombstones filmed here. Tom Horn with Steve McQueen, The Quick and the Dead. You might recognize, I'm sure you've seen most of those movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so you recognize some of the buildings from that.
But was Tom Horn one of them? That sounds familiar. That was also filmed down on the border, like in Lochiel.
I think small parts of it were, but the majority of it was filmed here. And what's funny is in Tombstone and Quick and the Dead, the livery, the front of the livery wasn't here. It was a hotel, and Quick and the Dead, it was Gene Hackman's house.
Oh.
So all it was just a facade that fit in front of it.
Huh.
And but in the Quick and the Dead, there was a scene in the livery. So we'll walk in. You can use the ramp, or if you want to.
This was also just to say that it was dedicated to Red Fullerton.
Ah.
Station.
Is that the dinner bell?
Yeah.
So in the Quick and the Dead, there was a scene where Sharon Stone gets a little frustrated and rides out, and she rides through those doors and heads on out.
Ah, okay.
The biggest part of this was the scenes with Steve McQueen and Tom Horn. Tom Horn was a real person. I certainly recommend, if you get a chance to read, there's a couple biographies. There's an autobiography he wrote. So there's a lot of information on him. He was quite a very interesting person. So in the movie, he comes in and brings this horse and puts it right here in the stall. The guy that runs the livery, he told him, he says, don't go in there. There's a gate in front of it. He goes, don't go in there for any reason. If you drop a dime, get a pitchfork and move it out of the way. He goes, well, and the livery guy goes, well, why is that? He goes, because the horse will kill you. And he said, well, he goes, it's called a mother-in-law horse.
Yeah.
And he says, well, what's that? And he goes, well, it's a horse you put your mother-in-law on, you let him ride up in the mountains, and you don't care if they ever come back.
That's not nice.
It also protected him because when he went to the hotel to have a meal, he ran into a boxer and his friends, and they got into a little scuffle, and Tom Horn, Steve McQueen lost. So they came back here. He spent the night on the ground with his horse, protecting him. And in the morning, John Coble, who was a rancher, came out to talk to Tom Horn and knew of his notoriety, so offered him a job as a stock detective. A stock detective because they had a lot of wrangling and cattle thieves in the area in Wyoming in that time period, late 19th century. And so he was basically an assassin. So they were going to pay him to get rid of the problem. And that actually progressed to the end of his life. That cost him, unfortunately. So behind you, if you remember from Quick and the Dead, there was a clock. There were duels or gunfights that were scheduled by Gene Hackman. A lot of that scheduling was done in the saloon across the street. We'll see that at the end. During the movie, there was a clock tower that was also part of the facade in front of the livery. That was a duplicate of this one. This one was used for camera purposes. So there was a lot of using and setting up a camera right here or wherever they did it, rather than having a camera focused on the tower. And of course, at the end of the movie, it was blown up or destroyed in the movie. So, what do you think? Okay, well, let's head on out. I've been doing some cleaning and it really looks great. One thing I wanted to mention to you guys is that everybody that's here that you see and all the construction that's being done is all done by volunteers. We're 100% volunteers. You're right, the Karchners own the rights to the property. The land is actually on Arizona State Trust land.
I got you.
So as far as the ownership of the land itself, it's in the Arizona Land Trust. The Karchners took it over within days of having it razed.
Oh.
It was somewhat abandoned, and they knew of the history, so and they've actually since leased a lot of range land around because they are ranchers.
Right.
So they moved some cattle up. It also protects from camera angles.
Right.
You know, so. And like I mentioned, so we have a couple of facades over here for Quick and the Dead and the Tombstone, but there's a couple of scenes in little bitty minute frames, 1 or 2 frames, if you kind of see the side of the building, because like I said, it was only just a facade. So people, if they walked in, they had to come out the side, something like that. So in the beginning of Tombstone, you'll see the wagons come in through town. So you have Wyatt and Morgan's livery, or their cottages.
Yeah, see the, okay.
That looks familiar.
Yeah.
The fence, the picket fence was not there in Tombstone. And then behind it was Boot Hill. So after the OK Corral shooting, the procession will go down that way.
Gotcha.
And then when they come into town,